delicious session today. We are here with Daniel Adeyanju talking about innovating your career with the 4 Ps. So, Daniel is a founder of Kuda Labs and a former software engineer. In his current role, Daniel connects young people to careers in the tech world, guiding them and providing them with the opportunities to pursue a career in innovation. Daniel's key to career success is the 4 Ps: people, projects, problem solving, and packaging. He enjoys speaking about his own career hurdles and what he learned from them, as well as what makes him passionate about his job today, helping others who are in the position he once found himself in. Y'all, let's see it in the chat. Let's see it in the emojis. All of the love for Daniel.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Michelle Adana, for that awesome introduction. What an awesome name, by the way. Very close to Michelle Obama, who's a fave, and one of the best introductions I've ever had. So let's give it up real quick for Michelle Adana and the awesome team, Caleb, Jerron, a lot of awesome folks that I may not know your name, but I see your impact, and I see the people that keep this going in the chat. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Yao. Thank you, Princess, Kenna, Zion. That's my cousin's name. Aaliyah, what an amazing community. I'm so blessed to be here today with the Color Stack universe. It is truly a privilege to do this work, to connect the underestimated. Some folks use other terms to describe people that don't have access, who haven't traditionally had access, traditionally disincluded people, all sorts of other words. But I think of you all as underestimated. I believe that you are all great, you are all awesome, and you simply need tools like ColorStack to do amazing work. So today, for the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my 4 Ps and how they've helped me be successful, and how I've used these 4 Ps to help folks like yourself build amazing careers in technology. I'm so glad that you've chosen technology as a space to develop your skill set. You are equipping yourselves to make an impact in any industry that you choose. Know that you're at the right place at the right time at a Color Stack Fam Friday. And my name is Daniel Adeyanju. I'm the Director of Partnerships, and I'm here to talk to you about the 4 Ps. All right. Does anybody remember what those 4 Ps are? Michelle Adana just mentioned that. I wonder if anybody actually watched my TEDx talk? Anybody got a chance to watch my TEDx talk and know what my 4 Ps are? All right, all right. Cool. Zion Adikbe said, just knowing who I am. All right. We're just meeting each other. Okay, cool. So it's fresh. So my 4 Ps are people, projects, problem solving, and packaging. And I'm going to talk through what I mean by these 4 Ps and how they've helped me in my career. The first P is people. I believe that anything of value that you're going to get in this world, in the physical, is going to come through people. All right. And one of my going phrases is that relationships are the greatest wealth, right? So even as technologists, we want to be really strong technologists, of course, and develop these skills. There you go, Wilfredo. Thank you. Appreciate you. There's a must for us to build relationships with people that want to support us in our careers, that want to support us in our larger journey. So relationships are the greatest wealth. As technologists, we need to find communities like ColorStack, identify people that we want to be a part of our journey and people that we want to be a part of their journey. So success really starts with who you're around. And I encourage everybody here to really think about developing your people skills first and foremost. I start with people because of anything of value, any of these other P's, you will learn them if you connect with the right people and the right communities. I know you know a lot about community already because you're in the Color Stack community. You value community. You're showing up for Fam Fridays. And as I like to say, showing up is half the battle. So I encourage you to develop your public speaking skills, your interviewing skills. When I talk about people skills, I'm curious, what are some other things that come to mind? I do want this to be interactive. What are some people skills that come to mind? Networking, okay. What else? Communication, sociability. I like that word. I'm curious what you mean by that. Listening. Oh, I love that. Listening, negotiation, body language. Oh, I'm so excited for y'all. Y'all know it's good. Empathy. Yes. I think empathy is just a fancy word for love, but or one of the fancy words for love. That's just me. Emotional intelligence, understanding, honesty. Yes, yes, and yes. So value, having an open mind, listening, comprehension, assertiveness. So there's so many different words you can put under this, under people. And I want you to constantly be thinking about how you engage with people, how you build relationships. I do believe that strong relationships begin with love, wanting to see other people succeed in their goals. And if you come into networking, so-called networking, I prefer to call it connecting. I'm always thinking about how can I be of service to this other person? Everyone in this room, you are people that can add value to any organization, to any individual. You're building skills, you have time, you're using your time to build your skills and solve problems. So I highly encourage you to come into networking from a position of strength. You may, know that you're a student, you may feel like you're just getting started, but that's actually a position of strength. You have a lot of perspective to add to anyone, and you have space in your brain. If anybody's familiar with AWS, if you're not, I encourage you to look it up. It's one of the greatest cloud software that's available to folks, which means I can run computers at somebody else's house. I have access to tons of servers for very cheap. Think about our brains almost as places that people can leverage us to support them in solving problems. So you all have a lot of value to add, right? So the next P is projects. All right. Projects are proof. They're proof of what you can do. When you are coming to a hiring manager, you're networking, you're meeting people that could be potential mentors, you have to have something you're talking about. It is not enough to say, yeah, I'm a student. People love to start with this. And I was a student twice, many times in my life, where they ask you, tell me about yourself. You say, well, I'm a student, and that's a kind of the center of our identity. And I'm a computer science major, and I'm taking these classes. I encourage you to think more broadly about who you are and the problems that you want to solve, and put yourself into projects that help you develop this passion for the subjects that you want to that you're interested in. So, quick question for the chat: what problems do you want to solve in the world? What are the problems that get you really excited? Passion projects, absolutely, they're so important. Are there any food insecurity, Carlos? Oh, so quick with it. Sometimes I ask this question, and most people go blank. All right, and if you went blank, that's okay. Now you have a huge menu to choose from, and you're getting an idea of what other people in your community value and the kinds of problems they want to solve. So Zion's interested in healthcare. Janelle is interested in peace. um, Angelica is super honest and said that she went blank, but I know, Angelica, that you have some really great interests. Yeah, I was interested in healthcare awareness, agriculture. So we all have these various interests. Guess what? You have a tool set that you can apply to any of these fields. I am a big believer that you can choose a problem, and try to approach one part of that problem set, that large universe of problems, and that's going to help you to use your skills. The more that you build, the more passionate you will get about technology. Passion is not one of my four P's. I thought about adding it. However, it is something that can help you be very successful on the job. I've heard from hiring managers that when they talk to someone and they talk about their projects, right, and they can see how passionate they are, that influences their decision about hiring. My first internship at Macy's was as a software engineer, and I found out later on that they were super excited about the food diary app that I created. It was an iOS app, and I was applying for an iOS job, right? So there was an alignment in terms of the stack and what I was building, and I found out that he was super into fitness. Can you imagine me following my interests? I'm really big into health, and it was a group project. And I'm interviewing, and um, my project aligned with his interests. And he said, "This is somebody I want to take a shot on. He's building projects. He's interested. He knows the fundamentals. Let's hire him." So I really believe in building projects that are relevant to your interests. What are some other ways that you can get involved with projects in the chat? What are some other ways to get involved in projects? Remember, projects are proof. They help us build our passion for the subject. It's no longer enough to, frankly, most jobs don't care what projects you build in class. They want to see what projects that you're building. Open source is huge. Is anybody in this chat actively working on open source projects, contributing to open source projects? I'd be so impressed. I would love to see that. Oyster, Slack, Color Stack, Slack. Two pull requests. Oyster repo. I'd love to know, what is the Oyster repo? Is that a Color Stack project? Okay. Amazing, amazing. Yes. Contributing to open source is huge. Hackathons, I think somebody may have mentioned this. Um, Personal projects, group projects. You can find some open source projects, clone it, and work on it yourself or with a group as well. I'm thinking of there's a couple of open source projects. There's one that I cannot remember the name, but it's a landing page on Chrome. It's a Chrome extension, and it brings you like new news and technology, and you can actually clone that and branch off, make your own version, make changes. When you work on those open source projects, they're actually closer to like what it would be like to work for a real what it would look like to work for a company, because it's a lot of code. And I do encourage y'all to even think about starting your own potential companies, right? Think about it as if you're starting a company, you want to solve a problem, attack it with friends, work on it over summers, and over time that code base would grow. And when you talk about it, I'm sure your eyes will light up, and they'll know that you're passionate about technology. The third P is problem solving. All right, problem solving is the crux of why you're hired. You're hired to solve problems. Think about that, right? So, of course, I asked you what problems you want to solve in the world. That's so that you have a mission that is bigger than any one company, right? I get it. We got to pay bills, right? That's also why we're going to school. Trust and believe. My my two Nigerian immigrant parents really made sure I knew that I needed to feed myself and my family and be able to take care of them in the future. However, if you can take a step back from that and think about the longer goal, think about, to use another P word, not one of the four P's, but think about your purpose, right? Which may seem like a really deep question, and you may not get it right away, but you can start to think about, what are the things that light you up? What are the things that get you upset? What are the problems you want to solve in the world? Now, zooming in a little bit on the actual software engineering role, and you think about the kinds of problems that they want to solve, the biggest one I want y'all to think about is that obviously the algorithmic problems. In college, the data structures and algorithms class is typically the most important class in terms of actually getting the job. And I don't know what stages you're at. If you're in data structures in this fall or this summer, please pay attention. If you are doing another course online, please pay attention. If you don't know anything about data structures or you didn't pay attention this summer, take time to get on the LeetCode or whatever platform you want. Do mock technical interviews on platforms like Brilliant Black Minds. I know there's also Stella. peers. There's also another one, PRAMP, practice makes perfect, right? And then just pairing with each other in the color stack universe. Another trick is to watch videos of other people answer questions. The funny thing about my four P's is they all connect. The technical interview sounds like it's just technical, but they're actually trying to pick up on your people skills. Do you know how to listen? If they give you feedback, are you going to argue with them because you think you know better? I wouldn't recommend it. All right. So that's why you want to build those people skills so that when you get into those interviews, you want to be able to show yourself approved. Shala said that DSA stands for, the S stands for suffering. I'm going to ask you, Shala, and my friends on the chat, let's reframe that. Let's reframe that. And just in general, let's do our best to fall in love with the subject matter. Um, as I say that, I'm thinking about most operating systems class. I know it's tough. DSA, if you can be around people, if you can find people who actually like it, and put yourself into that mode where you're not fighting DSA, but you want to understand algorithms, you want to understand operating systems, you want to improve um, your you want to improve time, the speed of your programs, the efficacy of your programs. You want to get deeper and deeper into solving those kinds of problems, right? And I know there's a reason why they call it grinding leak code. But I'll challenge you and encourage you to reframe it. And one way you can reframe anything is to find a community to do it with. Things are way funner. I'll create that word, or more fun, when you're working in groups. Tries is where happiness stops. I feel you on that. Graphs are, what do you have to say about graphs? I want to hear it. What do you have to say about graphs? I encourage you, go for the hard stuff. Try to fall in love with the hard stuff. It's going to make you a better problem solver. The last P is packaging. Packaging is being able to tell your story. It's really important that you have a strong elevator pitch. When you meet people, can you tell them who you are, what you do, and why you do it? And don't start with, I'm a computer science student. That sounds like everyone else. Start with something really strong, right? I might say, I might start with why. My why. I'm really passionate about ensuring that everybody has an opportunity, has access to economic opportunity. And I might tell a little bit part of my story. I watched my dad growing up in the Caribbean. Before I came to the U.S., I saw my dad building computers to put food on our table. So I grew up seeing that technology skills could create opportunities for people. So that's why I want to create that same opportunities for others. So I start with my why, a little bit of my story, and I then go into my skills and how I do it. And I might mention my role. You definitely want to mention somewhere in there, depending on who you're talking to, which is most recruiters, that you are, especially for an internship, they want to know that you're a computer science student. So you want to mention that. And if you're looking to startups, I would lead with what I'm building, what I'm passionate about, right? Because I might be trying to create an opportunity for myself. I'm not trying to communicate that I'm still in progress. I'm communicating that I am that. Everybody in this chat, you are software engineers. I will not say aspiring, all right? If anybody has aspiring on your LinkedIn, please delete right now, all right? Say it one more time. If aspiring is on your LinkedIn, your resume, please delete right now. Be what you want to become. Just be that, all right? Be a software engineer, be a DevOps engineer, be, I love the honesty in the chat. Let it be so. This is declarative programming right here. All right. Now, those are my four P's. They all connect, right? When you're packaging, it's really about understanding people, which really starts with understanding yourself. You're building projects that reflect your personality and your interests. It makes for a great conversation. Your eyes are literally going to light up, right? And somebody mentioned communication. You want to be somebody who can engage folks in the interview. You want to have a real conversation, right? It's not a battle. They want to know that they can work with you. You're going to be interesting to work with, right? It's going to make the work environment a little bit more fun. So we have maybe 4 more minutes for Q&A. I would love to get some quick questions. It's going to be really quick Q&A. I'm going to leave my LinkedIn in the chat. Would love to be in community with you all. Check out my TEDx talk, a bit longer, talks through a little bit more storytelling so you can get this. And the way I use these 4 Ps, I would use these 4 Ps is that every day, what am I doing this summer with people, projects, problem solving, and packaging? What events am I going to for people? How many people am I networking? Am I setting up coffee chats with every week this summer, in person or virtual? How many leak codes am I doing? How many mock interviews am I getting for my problem solving? And how great is my LinkedIn? How much feedback am I getting on those platforms? Do I have a blog? So, any questions in the chat? You talk a lot about finding passion in your projects. What was the So I would say for me it was that it was the food app, the food diary app, right? Because I was able to see something that I cared about come to completion and work in a team. I was able to talk about it. And then since then, coming into this space, I actually in the workforce development space, I started an alumni group to help people know about opportunities in tech. So that's one of the things that supported my transition in this kind of work that I do now, which is workforce development. Any other questions? How can we manage doing the hard stuff without overloading selves? Great question. First, know that you can do hard things. You're gonna have to prioritize, right? There's tons of YouTube videos about how do you prioritize. There's an Eisenhower matrix. You have a timeline. You can't do everything at once, but hey, you have a project plan. I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna do this later on. And you want to develop problem solving skills. Also, find people who do the hard stuff well and work with them. Ask to have a study session with them. Ask, how is it that you are able to manage doing the hard stuff? But a lot of it is scheduling and planning ahead, and finding ways that it connects to what you do. So things are not as hard when you like them, and when they help you solve problems that you actually want to solve. So find out how what you're learning is relevant to what you want to do. There's always a connection. Next question. Interested in building startups? Help. One, I would say shadow people, meet people who already have startups and work with them. Get really clear on what kinds of problems you want to solve. Get really good at the problem solving skills. Learn more about the startup ecosystem. Definitely look at Y Combinator and watch videos by them. There's Y Combinator Startup School that you can tap into. There's tons of content online that you can check out. If you don't have projects to what they're looking for, try to get into open source, join other people's projects, ask who in the color stack community is working on something and shadow them. Find an upperclassman, somebody who's already in the field, work on projects. You can market to yourself. You should be on LinkedIn posting about what you're building, what you're thinking about, right? So that's how you market yourself. I'm curious about this. This is what I'm working on. Here's an interesting article, right? You can even just post articles that you find interesting to add value to community. So always start everything with how do I add value to others rather than what I don't have. Start from a place of abundance rather than lack, all right? So I'll close there. Amazing questions. Here's my LinkedIn. That's actually not my LinkedIn. I actually just put the wrong link. But I am going to I'll try to edit that. I'll update it and put it in the chat. But I would love to connect on LinkedIn, and I wish you all the best of luck in your journey. Remember, people, projects, problem solving, and packaging, and stay in the game. You're in the right place at the right time, and you will be successful if you decide to be. Thank you.
Yes, y'all, let's give it up for Daniel in the chat as well as the emojis. Come on, come on, come on. Thank you so much, Daniel. I hope you're getting all the love that you're seeing in the chat as well as in the emojis. And thank you so much for sharing with us. Make sure to watch that TEDx. Make sure to connect with Daniel on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. So now we're going to go ahead and transition transition into 15 minutes of roundtables in the lounge space. Meet us back here at 3 p.m. to hear from OG Color Stack member Phyllis and how to overcome imposter syndrome. Okay, so now y'all can go over to the chat with some folks over there, and then we'll get into it. Oh, wait. Before we do that, hold on. We're gonna do a giveaway question. Ready? What are the 4 P's? Someone said it. Chris, I think Chris Chica. Congrats, Chris. You said it as as the words are coming out. Y'all, make sure to tap into each other at the roundtables, and we'll see y'all at 3 p.m.